welcome to the Indigenous Quarter. I'm Marlena Watt, joining you from Rockhampton in central Queensland. Coming up, a new program brings out the natural scientists in school children.
We have 21 students in the Junior Rangers program and we've had 100% retention from them.
If we get them when they're younger, these sort of ages, they all of a sudden begin to understand that science is fun.
But first to the Central Australian desert, where a community centre is taking Aboriginal art to the world by cutting out the middleman. Tom Nightingale reports.
From Yuendamu to the United States.
I'm happy to share my culture and dreaming with other people in other worlds.
This painting is one of 3 works being sent to the US from Wallakalong Arts in Yuendamu. Exported paintings now make up a quarter of the art centre's sales.
France, Canada, Switzerland, Germany. We have sent stuff to Russia, Japan.
Some of the sale price goes to the artists in a community where few other job options exist. The Warlpiri people of Yuendamu are happy their culture's being taken to galleries and homes across the world.
My country is south from Yuendamu, not far from here, and this painting that I did, it represents Kawana dreaming.
Yuendamu is in the Tanami Desert, 300 kilometres northwest of Alice Springs. The art centre has to overcome its isolation.
Painting have gone through like rickety roads, dusty roads. When there is camels in front of you, they don't want to get out of the road and you need to go behind this camel for hours.
The Aboriginal art market has slumped recently, but this centre hasn't been as badly impacted. But local artists say the overseas sales are worth much more than the money.
To be able to preserve this tradition and to be able to maintain this tradition, which is what Aboriginal people want, you need to show it to quite a lot more people. And that is a way of maintaining and preserving a culture.
The art centre says it's leading the way for others to export works directly to foreign galleries.
An understanding of nature and conservation is an important part of Indigenous culture. Well, now there's a new program encouraging students to develop this knowledge and follow a career in environmental science. Louisa Rebgetz has more.
My mother and her sisters teach us when we was little how to go hunting for oysters and other bush tuckers.
We have 21 students in the Junior Rangers program and we've had 100% retention from them.
The trapdoor is actually called an operculum.
These Indigenous students from Camilda College are in the middle of a science lesson in the ultimate outdoor classroom.
And if you just touch him a bit, he will...
They're taking part in the Junior Ranger program on Elcho Island in northeast Arnhem Land. It's teaching them about science and the natural world, using their traditional knowledge of their environment as a starting point.
You'll say, what do you know about, marine environments, or what do you know about the ocean or the sea? And they'll say nothing. And then you start asking them more, and all the little stories come out, and things that they just take for granted that they know.
The aim of the whole project has been to try and engage young Aboriginals in understanding a bit more about science. And if we get them when they're younger, these sort of ages, they all of a sudden begin to understand that science is fun.
As they fly in early in the morning at the start of the 2-day excursion, there's plenty to look forward to for those students returning to their homeland. The boarding school they attend in Darwin is a world away from Elcho Island.
Now I feel like home. When I went on the plane and I seen the sea, I felt home.
Some of them find it very difficult being away from home and from family, but programs like the Junior Rangers, where we involve their innate knowledge, if you like, of how they see the world as part of the learning context of the school, that really helps with retention.
So you've been chosen to do this because we know that you're very interested in nature.
But keeping kids happy at school isn't the only aim of the program. Remote Indigenous students across the Northern Territory lag behind when it comes to numeracy and literacy.
Are they soft or are they leathery?
For many, English is a second or third language. Educators say the Ranger program is helping build students' confidence.
I'm going to make them know.
Local senior ranger at Elcho Island, Ralph Garawara, is playing an important role in encouraging the students to share their knowledge.
To get them out of the classroom is important. And here, in a very subtle way, it's their classroom and I'm the one that's learning. And it's quite a nice juxtaposition that works, I think, in this way.
For Professor John Buckridge, an environmental engineer from Melbourne's RMIT University, the program has been a learning experience. He's amazed by the scientific knowledge these Indigenous children have learned from their elders.
I was fascinated to see the young children breaking open pieces of mangrove wood and breaking out the worms from those, and I'd never seen that before. That was kind of special to see that.
But Professor John Buckridge is disappointed so few Indigenous students live up to their potential and go on to achieve at a tertiary level.
There's no point in coming along when they are 16, 17 and saying, you need to get your maths up to speed. You want to do environmental stuff, because it's too late. Why is this a plant? Is they don't move. They're fixed. Their roots are in the ground.
The plan is to expand the Junior Ranger program to other communities. And eventually, organisers hope the program encourages Indigenous students to use their knowledge to look after their own country.
We'd love to have more Indigenous rangers working on country and employed within parks and wildlife. Hopefully this sparks more interest in looking after country.
Yeah, I do like science, like environment, looking after animals and describing it and studying for it.
What do you think would happen if it was dislodged from the rock? You know, if it became loose?
It would die.
If we were able to get one to go and do science and engineering, that'd be a great achievement for us. And it'd be a great achievement for Australia to start to get those numbers coming through.
It's a curious fact, but the tradition of Aboriginal debutante balls goes back more than 60 years. The surviving debutantes from the first ball in Melbourne are now elders. They were recently honoured at a special event for a new group of Aboriginal Debs. Lisa Whitehead was there.
These young women are preparing to take their first symbolic step into the adult world. Their debutante ball will be a culmination of a special program called Pathways to Womanhood.
Don't poke me. I'm careful, I'm going really careful. Squeal if it hurts.
The girls are all boarders at Warrawa Aboriginal College on Melbourne's outskirts.
Now, you know when you're sitting down in camp and you put your foot to the back.
They come from as far away as the Epinara community near Tennant Creek, from Darwin and Wagga Wagga.
The families want to ensure that their girls are getting exposure to other experiences that they would not otherwise have in their own community setting.
The ball is also a chance for Principal Lois Peeler to continue a tradition close to the heart of her Yorta Yorta people. In 1949, Lois and her sister Beverly Briggs were flower girls at Australia's first Aboriginal debutante ball.
Just about everyone in that Deb ball were related.
Back then, Aboriginal people still didn't have the right to vote, and racism and poverty were rife. Many of the Yorta Yorta people were still living in humpies on the riverbank in northeast Victoria.
I think it was quite a momentous occasion for them to be out there and dressed up in and looking very beautiful and being presented to the then Premier.
The 12 new debutantes will be presented to the Yorta Yorta elders, including Uncle Clements Briggs.
And this will be just as big a highlight to them as what it was to us.
Warrawa College caters specifically for girls who've been exposed to trauma or dysfunction in their communities and are considered at risk.
What sort of things had you been doing?
Not attending schools and running away from home and getting into bad situations. So I came to here and now I've changed a lot.
My mum's really proud of me because before I came here I missed out on heaps of school.
We've actually seen a shift in the girls that lacked confidence, perhaps weren't comfortable in who they were as Aboriginal people.
One more.
Girls making their debut can outlay hundreds of dollars, money these girls' families simply don't have.
2, 3. Beautiful.
So Healesville locals volunteered to do their hair and makeup for no charge. And their outfits are courtesy of a free loan service called the Tiara Project.
I got a lot of butterflies. I'm like real nervous at the moment.
Layla is from the Womanhood language group and lives in Darwin. Layla has undertaken AFL umpire training and she hopes to become an interpreter with the police force.
So you're very proud tonight?
Yeah. Those mothers have come from remote communities. I mean, the challenges that they face in actually travelling down here, I don't think many of us really appreciate, but here they are to come and see their daughters make their debut, and that is incredibly important for the girls.
Tiffany is partnered by Ryan Tuffin from Luther and she hopes to travel around the world.
Warrior has given her the opportunity to look forward to what she wants to do in the future, and that was one of the main things and opportunities that I wanted her to have.
I think a debutante's a great way to celebrate what they're embracing in coming to Warrawa and studying and being in a big city. That's really a big step that they've taken on.
We'll walk in separate ways. Promise me you will remember.
What we're aiming for is to have a balanced individual with skills that are useful in mainstream, but also someone who is proud of their Aboriginal identity and can step forward and take their place as leaders in the future.
That's all for this edition of the Indigenous Quarter. For more Indigenous news, you can check out the ABC website. But from here in Rockhampton, I'm Marlena Watt. Goodbye for now.